You've probably seen it everywhere. It's popping up on wellness blogs, it's all over your social media feeds, and it's taking over the aisles of the pharmacy. We're talking about magnesium. And today, we're going to figure out how this super common, humble mineral became a billion-dollar superstar that's sitting in everyone's medicine cabinet.
And when I say billion-dollar, I am not kidding. The market for magnesium supplements is on track to blow past $3.2 billion by 2035. I mean, that is a wild amount of money for just one mineral, and it tells you something huge is shifting in how we're all thinking about our health.
So that really brings us to the big question, right? Why this one? What is going on that's making the whole world suddenly fixate on magnesium? Is it just brilliant marketing, or is there something deeper going on with our bodies and our diets that has us all reaching for that same bottle? Well, we're about to find out.
And believe me, we are reaching for it everywhere. This isn't some niche product you can only find in a specialty health food store anymore. Nope, the data shows it's a bestseller in online shops, it's a staple in pharmacies right next to the vitamin C, and you can even toss it in your cart at the supermarket. It has officially gone mainstream.
Now, this obsession is especially strong in the Western world. North America is leading the charge, gobbling up almost half of the entire global market, with Europe right behind. And according to the market reports, this isn't just some passing fad. It's being driven by this massive trend towards preventative healthcare. You know, people wanting to get ahead of health problems instead of just treating them after they show up.
So to really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dig into the magnesium boom itself. Then we'll get into the science of what it actually does as the body's essential spark plug. After that, we're going to put the biggest health claims under magnification, separating fact from fiction. Then we'll get super practical with a user's guide. And finally, we'll zoom out to see the bigger picture.
Okay, let's kick things off with the boom itself. I mean, how did magnesium go from a page in your high school chemistry book to this global wellness sensation? The numbers here tell a really fascinating story.
So the market isn't just big, it's growing like crazy. We're talking a projected 7% compound annual growth rate. Now that might just sound like a number, but in the business world, growing by 7% year over year for the next decade, that is a sign of incredibly powerful, sustained demand. It's a real cultural shift.
So what's pouring fuel on this fire? It's really a one-two punch. First, there's this growing awareness that, hey, a lot of us might not be getting enough magnesium from our food. And second, there's a bigger shift happening where people are just more comfortable taking supplements as part of their daily routine. That awareness piece alone, it's responsible for about half of all that growth.
And then, of course, the pandemic hit, and that just threw gasoline on the fire. This quote from a market report really says it all. The pandemic put this intense focus on staying healthy, on our immune systems, and especially on our mental well-being. People were stressed, they weren't sleeping, and many turned to magnesium because of its reputation for having a calming effect.
Okay, so we've seen how huge this trend is. Now let's get to the real science. Why is this mineral so important to begin with? Let's forget all the marketing hype for a minute and look at what magnesium actually does inside your body. The best way to think about it, it's like the ultimate biological spark plug. To really get magnesium's power, you just have to know this one word, cofactor. So a cofactor is basically a helper molecule. It's not the main star of the show, but without it, the enzymes that run pretty much everything in your body just can't work. Magnesium is the king of cofactors.
And how much helping does it actually do? Get this, magnesium is a required cofactor in more than 600 essential chemical reactions in your body. Let that sink in for a second. Over 600 different jobs, from making energy and building muscles to fixing your DNA and keeping your heart beating steady, all depend on this one little mineral being there.
But its most important job, its number one job, is all about energy. You might have heard of ATP. It's the energy currency for every single cell you have. But here's the thing, ATP on its own is super unstable. Magnesium has to come in and bind to it, giving it a stable structure so that its energy can be released properly. To put it simply, no magnesium, no usable energy. It's that fundamental.
So because it's so central to energy and it's a helper in hundreds of reactions, its influence is just incredibly widespread. It's critical for your metabolism, for your nerves talking your muscles, for the rhythm of your heart, the strength of your bones, and even for your immune system to work right. It really has its hands in almost everything.
So we know it's popular, and we know it's essential for our biology, but now it's time for the tough questions. What about all those specific health claims you see printed on the side of the bottle?
Let's put them under the microscope and separate the real, hard science from the marketing hype.
This is one of the biggest claims you'll see, and scientifically it makes sense. Magnesium can act as a kind of natural calcium channel blocker, which helps your blood vessels relax and open up. In theory, that should lead to lower blood pressure. But does taking a pill actually do that?
The evidence says yes, but we need to keep it in perspective. A huge meta-analysis that looked at 34 top-quality trials found that magnesium supplements lowered blood pressure by about 2 points on the top number and almost 1.8 on the bottom. Now, that's not enough to replace medication, but it's a modest, statistically real nudge in the right direction.
And this is where it gets nuanced. See, when scientists just observe big groups of people, they find that those who eat more magnesium-rich foods consistently have healthier hearts. But when they do controlled trials and give people pills, the results are a little more modest. The takeaway? It definitely seems to help, especially if you're low to begin with, but it might not be a silver bullet for everyone.
Okay, next up, migraines. This is a huge one for so many people. We know from research that people who suffer from migraines tend to have lower levels of magnesium, and the mineral is really important for calming down the overactive nerve signaling that causes these headaches. So does supplementing help?
Well, the evidence here is split in a really interesting way. For stopping a migraine attack that's already happening, high-dose IV magnesium given in an ER can work wonders, sometimes just as well as standard drugs. That's pretty powerful. But for preventing them with a daily pill, the evidence is a bit more mixed. Some guidelines say it's worth a shot, but the high doses you often need can cause stomach upset, which is the deal breaker for a lot of people.
And now for the big one. Let's be honest, this is probably the #1 reason people are flocking to magnesium. In our stressed-out, 24/7 world, the promise of a calm mind and a good night's sleep is incredibly appealing. But is it real?
The theory here is rock solid. We know for a fact that magnesium helps regulate the body's main stress response system. It also helps balance out our brain chemistry, boosting calming signals while tamping down the ones that make us feel revved up. You can literally think of it as helping to turn down the volume knob on your nervous system.
And what do you know? We see that same pattern again. There is a clear link. Study after study shows that people with low magnesium levels report more symptoms of anxiety and depression. But the intervention trials, where they actually give people supplements, are promising but not yet a slam dunk. The studies are often small and use different types and doses, so the scientific community agrees we need more research to be certain.
All right, so we've looked at the boom, the science, and the claims. Let's get practical. Let's say you're curious, or maybe you're convinced you could use more. How do you actually do it the right way? This is your official user's guide.
First things first, food. Before you even think about a supplement, the best place to start is always your plate. And the great news is, magnesium is packed into some amazing foods. We're talking nuts like almonds and cashews, seeds like pumpkin and chia, beans and lentils, leafy greens like spinach, and yes, even high-quality dark chocolate. A diet built around these foods is your foundation. Now here's a little pro tip that can make a huge difference. A lot of plant foods have these things called phytates that can actually block your body from absorbing minerals like magnesium. But old-school preparation methods like soaking your beans overnight or sprouting your grains help break down those phytates, which unlocks a lot more of that magnesium for your body to use.
Okay, but what if you do decide to supplement? You walk into the store and, wow, it's a wall of choices. You've got citrate, glycinate, oxide, threonate. It's super confusing, and here's the secret. They are not all the same, and the best one for you really depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Okay, this is the slide you might want to screenshot. Let's break this down. The big difference here is bioavailability, which is just a fancy word for how well your body can actually absorb it. So, first up is magnesium citrate. It's a fantastic all-rounder, well-absorbed, and it can also gently help with constipation. Then you have magnesium glycinate. This one is super gentle on the stomach and is bound to a calming amino acid, making it the top choice for sleep and relaxation. Magnesium malate is often used for energy and muscle soreness because it's linked to a compound involved in your body's energy cycle. Then there's a newer one, magnesium threonate, which is getting a lot of buzz because it seems to be particularly good at getting into the brain, so it's being studied for cognitive function. And finally, you'll see magnesium oxide everywhere because it's cheap, but, and this is a big but, it's very poorly absorbed. Its main effect is as a laxative, so it's not great if your goal is to actually raise your body's magnesium levels.
And one last, really important point, safety. There is an official upper limit for supplemental magnesium, and it's 350 milligrams a day for adults. Now, that doesn't count what you get from food. The reason for the limit is that taking more than this from pills can cause digestive issues.
It's just a good reminder that with supplements, more isn't always better. All right, for our last section, let's pull the camera all the way back. Because this whole magnesium craze isn't just about wellness trends. It points to a much bigger, more complicated story about our health and our food in the modern world.
Get ready for this number. According to some pretty big global studies, up to 1/3 of adults in the developed world aren't getting the recommended daily amount of magnesium from their diet. 1 out of every 3 people. That's a huge chunk of the population that's potentially operating with a low tank of this critical mineral.
So why is this happening? Well, it's basically a perfect storm created by our modern lives. Our diets are full of processed foods that have been stripped of magnesium. Many common diseases and medications can actually deplete our levels. The chronic stress we're all under burns through magnesium like crazy. And, just to top it off, as we get older, our bodies get worse at absorbing it from our food.
Because this problem is so widespread, a lot of public health experts are starting to sound the alarm. They see magnesium deficiency as this quiet, overlooked factor that's contributing to a lot of the chronic health problems that we face today. Everything from heart disease and diabetes to weak bones and mood issues.
So what's the fix on a grand scale? Well, experts are talking about a few big ideas. Things like better nutrition education, maybe fortifying our food or water with magnesium, making sure at-risk groups like the elderly are getting enough, and even starting to track magnesium levels as part of our national health surveys, just like we do for vitamin D.
And all of this brings us to one last big question to chew on. Is this multi-billion-dollar magnesium boom the solution to a real health problem, or is it really just a symptom, a very profitable band-aid that we're putting on a much deeper issue with our modern food supply and our high-stressed lives? It's definitely something we're thinking about.